Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back. We are here for the final chapter. We are breaking down the end of the show. Season 1 is wrapped. It's AfterBuzz TV. We're talking Cobra Kai. Got the whole crew back in the house. So much cool stuff. We'll see you guys in just one quick second.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, I'm hyped. Yeah, punch.
Oh wait, no, it's.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, not this one, but not this one. I guess. I guess not. It's not this one.
All
Though.
right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're here. It's AfterBuzz TV. We're in studio. We're talking Cobra Kai. It is part 4 of 4. Wrapping up season 1 here tonight. We are so excited to talk to you about so much cool stuff. And the whole panel has come back. Everybody's back in the house. Somebody had the brilliant idea of getting a costume budget for the show. That was exciting.
True AfterBuzz TV spirit.
I'm sorry, this is not a costume, this is not a prop, this is a uniform, because now I am officially Cobra Kai.
It's karate gi.
It's a karate. Okay, so we got Miyagi-Do, we got the Cobra Kai. We're excited. We got a great show for you coming up tonight, guys. We are going to be talking about an exclusive conversation with Martin Kove we had this week, the original trainer of the Cobra Kai Masters, exclusively from Rick Hong. We have the full breakdown of the entire show, a ton of cool stuff, predictions for season 2, and more. I say we get straight into things, guys.
Let's do it.
Can we like just at least introduce Miyagi-Do?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, he said Rick Hong, but we got
But I
Veronica.
think officially though,
Okay.
as Miyagi-Do. No, it's different. It's not
Would
just
Cobra
Rick Hong
Kai
anymore.
introduce their opponents, Kevin?
Ah, you're right.
No.
You're right.
All right. We'll take a break for a second. We got Veronica Valencia. How you doing?
I am great.
Excited to be back? Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
The uniforms just make it 10 times more excited.
10 times
I am ready.
We're immersed. As we mentioned, Rick Hong. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, man?
Yeah.
But you guys, I'm gonna just say right now, they really look great in Miyagi-Do. The Miyagi-Do colors.
It was made
Terrific.
for us. It was made for us.
Yeah. This was good. I mean, this is patience. This is anger. We'll find a way. It's yin, it's yang.
You focus power.
I got Keven
I just,
Undergaro. What's up, man?
well, here's the thing, because earlier on, the people outside the studio, like, how come you're not? I thought you'd be Miyagi-Do, and I said, I just relate too much to Johnny.
They clearly did. They
Johnny.
clearly did not see your Trans Am
Yeah,
on
that's
social
true.
media.
That's true.
So
I know, you're right.
And I am Ben Bateman. You know, Kevin, my favorite thing is I listen to Tomorrow's Show pretty routinely, and one of the hallmarks of the show is you talk a lot about millennials and how there's this sort of like everybody wants it fast, instant gratification.
Right.
So when I watched the show, it was so clear to me Kevin is going to be so excited about Johnny.
Yes.
He's just like
He was speaking to me. I just felt his pain throughout everything.
when you write your memoir, it's going to be like chapter 2, and there's going to be a quote, and then it's going to be like it's going to be Johnny Lawrence. That's going to be the quote.
But he's arcing.
Yeah, he is.
Johnny's on his journey.
He's a great journey. So I think we should pick straight up because this is. I'll be honest. When the 8th episode ended and we got into like we know they're gonna have their showdown, it was the most excited I was in the whole show. I was so pumped to get to the end, the last bit of the show, because I was like, he is going to his house. He is going to track him down, and we're gonna see what happens. This was this is like really got real for me. So I think we should start there. The showdown, Johnny and Daniel. And just their relationship to this point, getting into the back end of this season, them with the showdown by the pool.
But Daniel's got it coming from Johnny's perspective, don't you
100%.
think? I mean, they burned his car.
Yeah.
2 guys jumped him and beat him up. I mean, or tried to beat him up.
Louis the worst.
Right?
He's the worst.
I mean, plus the car's a classic, right?
It's a classic, Rick.
He has like
Why do you like that, Rick?
Yeah, Johnny has like every reason to want to beat him up.
right.
And I'm just like, go for it. Like everything he did to you.
Louis just was like, I'm gonna get the Sons of Anarchy. We're
Yeah.
gonna wreck your car.
That's true. That's true. Sons of Anarchy. That is true.
Yeah. So, and you feel so bad for him too because he's writing that letter, and when it sets this up, and so yeah. So this, I agree with you. I think Miyagi-Do does have it coming. I mean, I should say Johnny.
But you know, at the same time too, Miyagi-Do is about defense. So like, it makes sense that Johnny's got to go there.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And he just shows up to the house. It's just so he's just standing there. How did you get in? Where does he live?
It's relatively innocent for Daniel because this is the dumb cousin trying
Right.
to step up for the family. But has Daniel put things in play that made this happen? Are there things he could have done differently that would have maybe prevented Louis from going and doing this? I guess I ask you guys.
Definitely, I think so. I mean, what happened with Daniel is that he let his pride, unbeknownst to him, he let his pride push him to make decisions because he wanted to hold on to being the hotshot from back in the day, and he really prided himself, I think, as being the like Miyagi-Do, and he beat the bad guys, and he wanted it to stay that way. But I think he aged out of that a little bit and didn't realize this is just a dude. I'm just a dude too. That's all in the past. We're just people. Right. But he continues to think that he has a superiority complex throughout this whole thing that I think finally got him in a little bit of trouble.
I mean, there's the paranoia. There's like just the paranoia of like, no, Cobra Kai can't come back. It's like you said, Kevin, like in the last couple episodes about PTSD. It just, he doesn't even want to see this. He doesn't want to see the logo. It's one thing to hear it, but to see the logo, he doesn't want to see that either. So just, it's just paranoia in his brain of like, no, I don't want to see anything. I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
And so that triggers him. Veronica, what do you think?
Well, I was just going to say, like, yeah, sure, he doesn't want it to come back. But as far as, like, doing something different to maybe not have Louis go over the edge, I don't really think so, because Louis just, like, went over the edge. Daniel was always very, like, discreet and kind of behind the scenes, like when he was trying to buy the property and such. Like, he was never confrontational. And so Louis was just like, I'll be confrontational for you.
But even maybe that energy he put out. Do you know what I'm saying? Because that was so shady.
Oh, yeah.
And so underhanded. And talking about a bully move, too, because Johnny's poor.
Trying to raise the rent? Brutal.
Yeah, that's a really low class. Exactly. Like, not thinking about, as we brought up, like the livelihood of other people.
Right. Yeah. I mean, again, his perspective, he's a victim of post-traumatic stress disorder. He thinks that there's all other little Daniels out there that are going to be victimized, and he wants to protect them. Which is why the writing is fantastic on the show.
Well, I love, this is one of my favorite moments of levity in the whole show, when they're posed to showdown by the pool. And I love that his wife, because she brings great humor to the show. She has the line where she's like, look, as much as I want to see you face off against your high school rival, can we
Pretty boy rival.
Yeah, can we not fight by the pool? You want to just come inside? We'll talk like adults. It's like such a good moment, because you're like, this is absurd. This is totally ridiculous, but it's happening in real life. So she's just pointing out the fact that you guys 10, come on, just sit down and have a cup of coffee.
Exactly, like you were saying. I like how she adds that sense of maturity. Like, this is your high school rival. You don't like him from high school, and you're like, what, 50-year-old men now?
Yeah.
Like, get over it, kind of.
Yeah, and truth be told, too, it's like you don't want to see two 50-year-old guys getting into a fight, because you know it's not gonna look, it's not even gonna look good. It's not gonna be pretty. So it's like,
Johnny's looking pretty.
No, but you know what I'm saying, though. But like, but I mean, like, if 50, it's just kind of.
I'll tell you what's gonna happen. They're gonna work their butts off in the off season. It's gonna look real good in season 2 when they fight.
But I know she came in as the voice of reason, but Johnny's just been jumped by 2 guys. They lit his car on fire, and other than he could go to the police, I guess. But Daniel's a big guy in the community. He's got money. I kind of love how he just brought it right to him.
But do you think he would have gone to the police? Like,
I don't think that's Johnny.
No, I think so either.
He's from such an older code, which is just, it's like, no, that's being a rat, that's being a wimp.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, I'm gonna stand up for myself. That's what I was taught.
Yeah. So this leads into he's gonna give him a car. That's what happens, right? It's like his wife's like, you got to give him a car. They trash his car. Now he's happy to get the car that he gets, which I love, because he doesn't. And also she has a line where she's like, don't give him a Porsche, don't give him a Mercedes, don't even give him an Infiniti. And it's just like, but the car he gets, he's so pleased with. It's like, it's a Camaro, a Charger, a Dodge Charger?
Why do you have to be like that, Ben? It was a Challenger. I was quite pleased as well. So I immediately got off of eBay to get my 90s Firebird and went right to go and look at used Challengers. I thought that car's fantastic.
It's a great car, but it's so fitting for him
absolutely.
and for you that you have just
yes.
I mean, it'd been crazy all of a sudden. It's just like, I was like, here's a Prius. I'd be like, what?
Well, here's the thing, too, again, which I love the writing. This was no gift. I mean, did you know the legal ramifications? That they could lose their whole business.
Right, of course.
And then lawsuits. And I mean, in today's litigious world, if he wanted to flip the switch and go millennial, oh my God, he would own LaRussa's dealership after that.
So we need to get you a shirt that says Johnny Lawrence is my spirit animal. That's like one of those.
He is my spirit animal.
I think that's a shirt that you need to own. It feels like next time
again,
I see you.
I just don't see why living in an apartment with a cool flat panel TV and driving a Firebird is such a bad life.
And drinking Coors Light, or is it Coors?
Drinking Coors Light, watching like old movies, and basically having jobs that you don't really care about with no pressure. I don't know. It doesn't seem like such a bad deal.
I almost brought us a 6er of Coors Light for the panel. that was probably off-brand, but maybe we could have had them empty, filled with water. I don't know. But anyway, so this gets to what was my personal favorite sequence in the entire show, which is the 2 of them getting to hang out for an afternoon. It's kind of one of those bizarro world things when you think about stuff you grew up watching that you really loved, like your favorite cartoons, your favorite movies, and just things you'd never see happen. And the idea watching Karate Kid in theaters, and you're like, in 30 plus years, am I going to get to see some bit where these two guys are in their 50s at a bar talking about Elizabeth Shue and who she's married to on Facebook? Because that's the most brilliant and wonderful thing ever. It was like so just like, it's like watching like a kitten ride a puppy or something, watching the two of those.
Here's where having a glut of, here's where having such a glut of content is so great. Because I remember as a kid thinking, why don't they bring back, or why don't we, I'd love to check in, even if it was specials. I used to pitch it too when I first came out. I remember pitching it to Fox and saying, listen, just a special, not like a reunion movie, but just, you literally could do one series. I remember I pitched this to Fox. I pitched a series to them, and I said, let's take 12 to 15 major franchises and do 12 to 15 episodes, hour and a half, 2 hour episodes, where you just go back into that world. And it was like crickets and just confused.
Where are they now, kind of a thing.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying when I pitched it, it went over their heads. They didn't get it. But now that we have so many channels and so many platforms, and there's such a desperation to get, it's such pressure to get audiences because it's so hard to get them with all that stuff that it's like, now you tap into an old audience. So I fantasized about this as a little kid. Never knew it would come to fruition.
What's that show that's on Netflix around, The Toys That Made Us? Is that the show?
Oh,
yeah,
it's
great.
No, we just it's really funny because right before we got on this panel, Kevin was talking about Hello Kitty.
Yeah, right.
And they had a sequence about that. That was amazing. Like, I grew up playing with G.I. Joe, not so much Transformers, but they were the same time. They talked about Transformers, and half that history I didn't know. I was like, wow. So yeah, like the nostalgia thing, those type of like just little brief snippets, like half hour, 45-minute episodes.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, it captivates you for sure. But anyway, so we get to watch the two of these guys sit down. First, they go to the old apartment building, and some of the conversation starts happening of like, oh, really, you didn't grow up or your house wasn't so great. He's like, yeah, my house wasn't so great growing up. And he's like, oh, you weren't always a rich kid. It's like, and they start to kind of see eye to eye. And when they finally sit down at the bar, it was just like, he's like, we're getting a drink. I got the keys. And you're just like, this is going to be so good. I thought that the Facebook stuff, looking up Elizabeth Shue's character, was
Allie with an I. Allie with an I.
I thought it set the table for season 2 in a way that I cannot freaking wait. I can't wait for season 2 just for that reason. And it was also so funny, the two of them. Look at his stupid face. He's like a super handsome guy, just like awesome looking.
Yeah. And the fact that he wasn't familiar with Facebook.
Yeah, what's a Facebook, right?
Oh, so great.
Yeah.
I also just like that in the bar. I don't know about you, but I felt like it was the one time in the entire series Daniel was just relaxed. He was just go with the flow. Because the entire time he's very
uptight about his daughter.
Uptight,
You're right.
I guess he's very protective.
And I need to be the perfect dad. I need to be the perfect owner, the perfect boss, the perfect husband. And you're right.
But even in like their drink choices, you can still tell that like where they stand. Like he gets a beer and he gets like a double martini with an olive or something like that.
And he just keeps it rolling though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Another thing I liked about this too is at the end of this, they're wasted and Johnny drives drunk, very drunk. But not. I didn't love, obviously. Like, I don't love to see that. But as a character in a show, it's like, this is realistic and predictable that you guys would be men in your 50s. You surprisingly get wasted in the middle of the afternoon and insist you're good to drive.
Right. And again, because that's that generation.
Right.
That generation is just like, no, you drink, you drive.
You're fine.
That's it.
Yeah, I thought it's just
whatever.
No, and then a part of me, I mean, probably because like they weren't sponsored yet, but maybe that will happen in season 2. Yeah. But a part of me was just kind of like, are they gonna be maybe just a little smart enough where Daniel's like, you know what? Let me call like an Uber or Lyft,
yeah, exactly.
just to see if they'd put it in there. But no.
Did it bother you guys that he didn't? Did you not like the fact that it was politically incorrect?
No, I loved it. I love the fact that it's just, let's go get drunk and
like when you watch. Do you guys, if you Rick, you probably haven't seen this, Veronica, but the original Bad News Bears.
Oh, it's with Jodie Foster.
Yes, have you seen it, Veronica?
No, I saw the remake.
You saw the remake, of course.
See, Tatum O'Neal hates that one, by the way.
Right. Well, so do I. But I mean, it's fine. But the original one is so politically incorrect. But it was such a reflection of the time.
Right.
Oh, I would never want to change it. You know.
Right. I mean, that stuff's really important, and I think some of the brilliance of this show is taking literally the concepts of that character and imagining what would he really be like. If he never grew out of it.
I have friends back home that.
Still the same.
Same thing. That's what they would have been like. They'll just like Johnny.
Drive wasted.
Although, but at the same time, this guy, I mean, he's been he wakes up, he goes to bed drinking a beer or something. So like maybe
Yeah.
being at a bar and having a couple beers, you know,
Yeah, right.
he's just kind of like, no. I know my driving limit in terms of.
We also assume there's, they don't allude to it, but there's a part of me that assumes he's probably had a Dewey at some point in his life. It would,
Probably.
It would not surprise me if the character had, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a guy
Driving
who's
under the influence,
close
yeah.
to 50 who drinks like that, who's that burnt out. I mean, yeah, he probably lost his license for a year. He's gone through hard
Yeah.
times. I mean, I know people like that. That's so yeah. So this whole entire sequence ends, and we find out literally. Then you're like so pleased the way this has gone. You literally find out that he's training Robby, and Johnny just loses it.
Yeah.
And it's, you've got a knife in my back. Because there is also one comment. I think when they're at the bar in the car, maybe he says, "I don't think we could ever be friends," right? Doesn't Johnny say, or okay, Daniel say it to Johnny, right? I think that line. I think he says that line.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does. And I think that's interesting because then they get back to the house and it's like, switch, flip. We could never be friends. Of course you're trying to screw me. And obviously, the end of the season is setting up so much stuff for season 2. It's hard to not get just like so hyped for another season of the show, like right now. Like, I wish I could watch it tomorrow.
Oh yeah. I wish I could have watched it as soon as
Yeah.
as soon as I was like, wait,
Crazy.
as soon as
There's more.
as soon as we got to where we got to.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much the Johnny Daniel relationship at this point in the show. Obviously, there's some stuff we'll talk about at the end of the episode with the final tournament, but as far as their direct interaction, I mean, that's the heart of it, I would say. Am I forgetting anything important?
No, because we'll get into it once we, for the
The All Valley
tournament, and
tournament,
it's just
yeah.
gas on the fire.
Yeah, so coming up in a second, we're going to talk about the students of Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai. But before we do, I want to remind everybody here who is listening or watching that we are on iTunes. We do this show for free. We obviously do, video as well. But if you guys want to give us a rating or review on iTunes, that is how we bring this content to you. We continue to bring this content to you free of charge. We will never charge you to watch this stuff or listen to this stuff. And if you go and give us a rating, let us know that you enjoyed what we did. Give us 5 stars. And leave a comment, because after the shows, we will go and we will read your iTunes comments on the air. We'll shout you out. The same can be said for YouTube comments, so please, we have multiple YouTube channels now. This is on YouTube Drama.
We got a chat going right now. I'm in it. We got Tyrion Lannister.
Yeah.
Wow, Peter Dinklage is watching this. This is great.
Dinklage, big Cobra
I
Kai
think,
fan.
I wonder if Peter Dinklage is Cobra Kai or Miyagi-Do.
Definitely Cobra Kai.
Really?
No, man, he's Miyagi-Do all
Miyagi-Do,
the
the
way.
underdog.
man.
Yeah.
All the
no.
way.
No, here's what it is. Family member, Cobra Kai. So drunk at the Cobra Kai studios, kind of cleaning up, and because it's part of the family business, right? But deep down, his heart is Miyagi-Do. And then he'll obviously go and work. There'll be a break and he'll go
Dinklage?
work.
Yeah.
Dinklage will go work with Miyagi-Do.
He plays an asshole really well, so I would think that he's Cobra Kai.
Yeah, but with the heart, but with the good heart.
He has
Yes.
a really good heart.
So that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. So Cobra Kai, he just like he was born into the wrong family in Game of Thrones.
The
Same
Lannisters,
thing.
yeah, okay.
I mean, we have some good hearts in Cobra Kai, but some of those good hearts are turning. So let's talk about it, because
Well,
I think
Can I ask one thing of the fans? Would you
Yeah.
please, guys, subscribe to this our YouTube drama channel? It helps. I know a couple of people who heard parts 1 through 3 already did that for us. We're very grateful. The more of you do that, it helps us a lot. And then check out our other YouTube channels. We have YouTube Reality. I mean, we have AfterBuzz Reality. We have AfterBuzz Wrestling. We have AfterBuzz Science Fiction, covering all your favorite shows. If you could subscribe to them as well, oh my goodness, we would be thrilled. But also, like you said earlier, leave us a comment. Let us know on YouTube that you did, so we can shout you out. And anyone else in the chat we need to say hi to?
Tyrion Lannister right now. We got a bunch of people watching. Chat in, guys. We'll give you a shout out.
yeah, absolutely. And maybe at the end of the show, we'll pull up some of the comments from the first 3 videos, and we'll read a couple of them live.
Holla.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get into the students fighting against each other and kind of this whole thing that's going on, because this to me is a really, really interesting part of the show, because you can start to see some of the complexity they've built into these students, where you really think the whole time that Miguel is just like this really pure-hearted kid, and he's just like a good kid. But you start to see the cracks, and you start to see the cracks reflected in all of the Cobra Kai students. Same can be said for Hawk. So it does, I mean, that's the brilliance of the writing of the show, is that they are literally taking you on this journey to realize that these people you love, these people that were outcasts, that you believed all you wanted to see was them to have a shot, to be awesome, to show the cool kids that they were cool too, and they are starting to, in some ways, become the cool kids. You know?
Yeah, well, I still don't think he's necessarily a bad kid.
Yeah.
I think he's a good kid that's starting to do bad things, and I don't think it's because of Johnny necessarily. I think he comes from a single home. There's probably anger issues. He was picked on and stuff early on.
Yeah, he has his own paranoia.
Yeah, and I hope the writers keep painting this gray. In other words, season 2. I hope it's like we don't see him just go full Johnny,
Right.
Yeah.
and the other team go full Daniel. But we're just seeing their kids. They're all on their journey.
As I mentioned last time, like, I think episode 8 was where my frustration started with Miguel here. And just in these next 2 episodes, I'm just, like, he just frustrates me. I still root for him,
Right.
Yeah.
especially in things to come. I'm still rooting for him. He's still my number 1 guy. But he's just frustrating me because I'm just like, you're creating issues for nothing. Absolutely
But
nothing. It's
Paranoia,
like all in your head.
It's always a woman. It's always a woman. No.
And by the way, my generation, Rick, so just in all due respect to you, it's always a broad.
So
It's always a broad. But, we'll say woman just to be politically correct.
Johnny Lawrence, everyone. This barbecue, I think, is one of the big turning points of the show.
But he's 16. He's drinking. All the testosterone's going through his
course.
body. Like,
And he's not a normal drinker either.
Exactly. And
not a
then
normal
remember,
drinker.
he's got daddy issues too, just like Johnny did, just like Daniel did, which they talked about at the bar. And, I get it.
So
It's unfortunate, but I get it.
So Robby breaks out the LaRusso girl and gets her out of the house because she's been grounded. Because we find out at this point that the car crash from the very first episode actually was concealed for 8 episodes. Somehow she managed to keep it from her parents for almost the entirety of the show.
I'm not surprised that she kept it from her parents. I'm surprised that at any point up until now, Johnny just couldn't whip it out and just be like, just to hurt him, just be like, your daughter wrecked my car. She was driving and her friends were being reckless.
Right.
But it's like you said, Johnny's not a rat.
He's not a bitch.
Just
He's
like
not a bitch.
just like he didn't go to the cops. He's not going to sit there. I mean, and not to mention too, it's like it doesn't matter what movie it is, what scenario it is. It doesn't matter who you're. I mean, Charles Manson's parents probably would have even said he didn't do it.
Yeah, right.
That's not my child.
Right, of course.
It's that's the problem with doing that, especially when it's coming from like your like arch nemesis.
But I think it's a quality of Johnny that he didn't.
Yeah.
I think that's admirable that he didn't. And I buy it.
They found a lot of really complex and admirable qualities to that character to make you love him. I mean, I think that's, again, I keep saying it, but the brilliance of the show is how they managed to humanize that character. By the end of this, he's the favorite. How can you not love the guy by the end of the show? So, but anyway, so this barbecue happens, and the Cobra Kai kids are like, we're going to totally mess with the popular kids. We're going to steal the spot, go have a barbecue of our own. Let's talk about this front wedgie. No, seriously, did you feel like it was awesome? Because I'm going to be honest, I felt a little bad for her. No?
No way, man. Awesome.
In some sense, it's probably like, okay, maybe she shouldn't have done that, but she, like, something was bound to be coming her way with just how terrible she treated
Totally.
Aisha, whether it was that or something else.
Yeah, I mean, Aisha, it was interesting. Like, you watch that happen, and you're like, you're like, it serves you right, but you're also like, Aisha, you're just like embarrassing someone else in front of a group of people and being really like physically aggressive. And I mean, that seems like it probably hurt a lot.
True, but does it finally end this girl's reign of terror over everybody? Because this girl was like just so vicious and
The
cruel.
mean girl.
Such a mean girl.
I feel like she'll be affected the same way Kyler was affected. Like,
I think
I'm
her feathers
done.
are plucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll see her go to Miyagi-Do.
No. She's not.
Yeah, I mean, that's a stretch. Like, that's their stuff,
I'm
but
telling you. Remember, I said my long bomb of a prediction.
Yeah.
Is her and Kyler go to a third evil dojo?
Maybe a Kreese dojo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Look, I can't wait to talk Kreese.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna be
Don't
really
get me
exciting.
going.
So this barbecue, Robby and Miguel face off for the first time, and Miguel's pissed because this. I always wonder this, and tell me if you guys relate to me on this. The whole like, she's not texting him back, and he doesn't really know what's going on. But the phone's been put away, so it's creating story in his head, and he's getting pissed off. That
We
he's
all
getting
do
texted.
that.
It happened to me in high school.
Yeah, everybody's you're imagining and wondering, but then
Yep.
of course everything goes off the rails because he reacts to his idea of what's happening as opposed to actually what's really happening.
Yep.
I feel like that happens in the world.
Like
so much.
Kevin back in the day is like, I wrote you a letter. Where was that letter? You didn't write me back.
Yeah, the Pony Express.
You didn't write me
Sent you that
back.
telegram.
The Notebook was actually about Keven Undergaro, guys. He wrote 100 letters to a girl, and she never wrote him back.
never wrote me
so.
I remember that type of stuff in high school, and you're like, why is she not texting me back? You're like, is there a reason? Maybe she lost her phone. Maybe she lost her phone. I don't know. Like, but like that, and then she never lost her
Wait,
phone.
what? What?
What?
Well, there can be
texting?
times when where they haven't lost the phone. Then there's other times where there's extenuating circumstances. I've
Yeah.
had that happen
Yeah.
and then gone like off the rails.
I
Or
think-
it happened the other way where I had to explain myself, and I got dumped because I was.
Whatever, man. When in high school, I was calling, and that caller ID would say my name, and then I'd get the voicemail, and I was like, "Wait, where's she at? Where's she at?"
Yep.
That's me,
so
dude. I didn't have the luxury of the text and the.
Oh man, like for me, like in the 100 times into my early 20s that this happened ever, where like you're not getting the text back. Maybe 2 times ever did the phone get lost. The rest of the time they're just not texting you back.
Sure.
Yeah, you always decide.
Veronica, what?
I'm sure.
She's the rookie of the.
She's just
rookie of the
blocking. No, she's
dojo.
just blocking all the guys. She's like block.
Yeah, block.
No, I mean
exactly.
that's happened. That's
Yeah,
happened.
you lost the phone.
I was like kind of confused because were you talking like landlines? Like you had to call someone's landline?
When I had to, okay,
Is
I mean,
that
I know
what you were
I know
talking
I'm
about?
15 years old, but when I had to call and ask a girl on a date, it was embarrassing because it was just like it was just like Daniel's ride with his mom on the date with Allie, where it's like I had to
Yes.
call and I would deliberately call, say like around 9:50.
Yeah.
Because 10 o'clock is probably the cutoff point.
Yeah.
Where it's, like,
Yeah.
it's time to go to
Oh,
bed.
oh.
So I'd call at 9:50, talk to some girl, and be like, "Hey, do you want to maybe go out or something?" It's like, no. It's like, "Oh, okay, cool, yeah, it's okay. I'll see you later. I'll talk to you later."
Awful
So-
memories.
Yes, landline.
Awful.
Okay.
Yes, landline.
Bring
Box that you would turn a crank and ring.
Oh, actually, it was right, exactly.
Right.
We're bringing up deep cuts here. So let's talk Robby and Miguel this face off, because Miguel's pretty aggressive here, right? Mm-hmm. And Robby's like just trying to be. I mean, he's kind of into this girl,
Okay,
but
can we also establish that Robby scammed? We saw him scam people over laptops. I mean,
yep.
how would you like your $1,000 plus laptop to be stolen? I think that would hurt. That would hurt pretty bad.
That'd be bad.
right?
Yeah.
And in his world, I don't think that was the first laptop or the first
No.
crime or the first time he's violated anyone. Now, we know that it's a reason. There's a reason he didn't have a dad and he's got a drunken mom, and I get it. But at the same time, that's still the Robby I see. He's gonna have to work a little bit more with me to get. I'm still Team Miguel,
Yeah.
because I don't think Miguel's stolen any laptops in his first 16 years.
At this stage, I'm just neutral. I'm just like team nobody at this stage. Either guy. I'm not rooting for either guy. I'm waiting to see, like, the whole time I'm watching this, I'm just like, all right, let's see what happens at the tournament.
Right.
But there's no guy at this stage, like at when we get to the campgrounds, that I'm rooting for anymore.
I just couldn't see, and I don't want to get ahead, but I could not sit through a Cobra Kai loss because Johnny's suffered for 20 years. Do you know what I mean? Off of that loss. So no matter what, I was like, come on, let's not do that.
You want the bad guys to win. I get it.
Oh, here we go.
But I mean, like, for me, I've liked seeing how Robby has changed. However, I'm with you, Kevin. I'm still rooting for Miguel. Like, even though he's frustrating me, even though I'm getting very upset with him watching how he's just ruining things because of his paranoia, I'm still rooting for him because he's trying. And, like, Robby he's changed a little bit, and it's nice. But I feel like his change... It was a little, I don't know the words to describe it. Like, Miguel's change kind of happened because he was paranoid because Johnny put something in his head, whereas Robby's change was kind of like, this guy's cool. He's being nice to me. He's
There's a
father
little bit of
figure.
more of an organic change to Robby in the sense that, right, he has been, I mean let's be honest, he's sneaking out a girl from her house. So, like, that's not a good, I mean, in terms of, like, actual, like, morality, that's not a good move. But in the same time, it's like, he's been treated like crap, never had any figures, and all of a sudden it's like, while I'm excelling at work, I'm learning a discipline, and I have people nice to me, and, like, I've eaten at someone's house, I've had, like, a nice meal in a nice big
Right.
house. And so he's organically kind of, right, on some ends, he's changing to be nicer, or he's happier, maybe that's what it is. He's happier.
No, and I think
but I
and
still don't root for either guy at this stage.
And
of
I
the
think
campgrounds.
he's seeing authority figures be kind and supportive, and and it's teaching him to trust. So I mean, I get it.
So I think one thing that's really important here, comparing these two kids, is that, when you meet Miguel in the first episode, he lives in, like, a small apartment complex. He's kind of a dweeb. He's a nice kid, but
He's a dweeb.
he's kind of a dork. He's taking care of his grandma. He's getting the Pepto. He's a sweet kid. Totally sweet kid. Robby.
Yeah, let's see him lose, Ben.
Yeah, what?
Okay,
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Robby's cool. He's he's like handsome. He's a renegade. He can steal laptops.
Let's see him win. He's the good guy, right,
He's
Ben?
charming people. He's charming
Good.
people. But I think watching their two changes, it's like you're seeing Miguel. He's experiencing the brunt of like going from kind of being this like on the ground kid to like all of a sudden he's popular, he's cool, he's trying to learn how to handle his strength. Whereas Robby already was kind of cool. He already was kind of smart and strong. He's just sort of changing his balance. He's shifting where he's putting his energy and is making him a better person. So I think it's like Robby's kind of clearly just ahead to begin with. He's more confidence. He's got a lot more confidence as a person of the same age.
So Miguel's going to be more insecure.
He's just going to be, it's going to be harder for him to like channel all of his newfound confidence because it's so fast, so new, and it's so much of it's driven by physical dominance.
I also think on Johnny's journey, because his life stopped after that loss, we know he loses the tournament, then he loses Allie at the same time, then he loses Kreese.
Yeah.
You know, and then Kreese abuses him physically. And so he never went on his journey long enough to learn humility and to learn how to be gracious in victory. And, you know, so he's able to train his guys to become now fighters and confident and whatever.
Right.
Now he doesn't know yet how to train them to say, hey guys, with this power now comes responsibility and, you know, and control. And, you know, so it makes sense.
But he's learning. That's his art.
Well, he's going to learn. Yeah, he's going to learn the hard way.
Yeah, the ending of the show is really, really great. So one thing to point out, I do want to talk about, of the trio of girls, the one that Hawk starts talking to, I thought from the beginning she was the cutest of the three. Just saying. I definitely was like, she's obviously the one that talks the least. But I also like...
Which is how you like them.
No.
Right, Ben? Ben, you're Cobra Kai.
Well, okay, come
you're
on,
Cobra Kai.
You're right,
The
sure.
ones that talk the least, right?
Yeah, I was going to make some comment, but I don't even know. It's creepy. I don't know.
You know, I'm certain. No, I was like looking at those girls, and the whole time I was just kind of like, nah, they're not Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah,
They're not
exactly.
Allie.
Yeah, right.
Oh, let's go to the rookie of the dojo. So, remember I asked you last week, you know, these guys, you know, how they, what is their sex appeal to you? So these women versus Allie, you know, when you see this, do they look as beautiful to you as Allie was in the original Karate Kid?
It's hard to say because they're all different. Like the style is different.
Right.
I mean, I think they're all beautiful, but it's different. Like obviously in the way that they would style their hair and the way that they would like apply like
you can't really
type
see
of cosmetics. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
The big hair is distracting her.
Yeah.
The big 80s
That's the one
hair.
thing I can't get.
It's also crucial that the one of the girls that Hawk gets is like the least significant because like the other two are kind of spoken for in one, but one's like the ultimate villain and the other one is like the main character girl. So the girl that Hawk gets is she's kind of a tertiary character, but maybe she'll show up in season 2. In fact, maybe we'll try to get her on the show season 2. Let's hope she sticks around.
I would like that.
Yeah. So all right, so let's get into the All Valley tournament because I think this is where it all, you know, we want to talk about obviously
50th
yes.
All Valley tournament.
So here's a question for you guys. Before we actually start breaking down what happened in it, this is my thought. Going into this, I was thinking, okay, there's two ways this can go, really. There's a couple things that we assume we're probably going to see. You're like, okay, there's going to be a big, some kind of cool move that we see to kind of cap this thing off, because it wouldn't be Karate Kid without it. And also, it's going to go one way or the other. What's the most satisfying? I was trying to decide before I watched it what I wanted to happen versus what I thought was going to happen. What was it for you guys? What did you think was going to happen?
For me, I wanted to be surprised, so I was the exact opposite of you.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't want to figure anything out. I was like, these guys have not let me down in 9 episodes, so I'm just gonna fasten my seatbelt and go for the ride.
It was going to be too convenient in my brain the whole time. I was like, it's going to be too convenient to have Robby win this thing.
Yes.
It's too convenient. And as a second, that would not garner a second season of makeup.
Or you could have a violent and really, really crazy Johnny who decides to go full to the dark side.
Yeah.
She could, but I'm grateful he didn't.
So what you're saying is that you assumed that there was a predictable nature that this had to go in a certain direction, otherwise the show would have been disappointing.
Yeah, and at the same time, but it was a curiosity. I didn't really have an event of it has to go the other way.
Yeah, right.
Like it was Cobra Kai is gonna win this thing. I wasn't going that way, but I was just thinking it's too convenient for Robby Miyagi-Do to win this. So that's why I was just kind of like, but that's also brought my intrigue.
Yeah.
That like brought more intrigue for me to say like, how are they gonna do this right?
Right.
Because it's too simple to to make it like the end of Karate Kid 1.
Yeah. What do you think?
I thought that it was completely up in the air on who could win, whether it be someone with Miyagi-Do or someone with Cobra Kai, but I personally wanted it to be a Cobra Kai just because, like, I think that is very important for Johnny's character, as I'm sure we will get into later. But that was the one thing I was like, I liked everything that happened, whether there were parallels or whatnot. I thought it was fun. But the one thing I wanted different was a Cobra Kai to win, because I just thought it was very important. But I didn't. But like as I'm watching, I'm like, I don't know. It could be anyone. But that's what I wanted.
Well, it's kind of like you guys. I think you guys watch Friday Night Lights, the TV show. It's like one of my favorite shows of all time. Season 1 of Friday Night Lights, they have to win state. If they don't win state, it's kind of like that's the self-contained nature of the first season. It's kind of like the same thing. The show is called Cobra Kai. Whatever else happens, who we learn to love Robby. This is Johnny's story. So if Cobra Kai hadn't won the tournament,
Then it's a repeat of Karate Kid 1.
then it's kind of disappointing. And even though you know it's like there's a little bit of and I joke about this, the bad guys win. It's a little bit of you need that. It has to kind of be that.
But
way.
I don't think the bad guys did win. I just feel it was an ironic ending.
Yes, I agree.
You know?
But I mean, like when I say bad guys, I mean like the stereotypical, like the
Yeah.
Cobra Kais are stereotypically the bad guys. So I think that was necessary.
Although
but
when they all marched out in uniform,
Yes.
who was it? Rick, were you excited?
Oh, of course.
Oh, I was pumped.
Of course.
Right?
I was ready.
that's like literally when you ordered these uniforms.
I was like right on it. I'm like, okay, I've already got the skull costumes for Halloween, and now I need the Cobra Kai geese.
They look the coolest. They have the coolest chants, and like the one referee guy is like, Cobra Kai is a badass name for a dojo.
Yeah,
it's
it's
just like
awesome.
everything about them is just cool.
Also, these are pretty high quality. I gotta say, you got some pretty nice.
Yes.
Listen,
You got some pretty nice uniforms. These aren't costumes.
you know, it's AfterBuzz.
Gi. Karate gi.
Yeah. So all right. So the whole tournament starts. We get to watch. Obviously, so when Robby came out and he's fighting for himself, that got me a little hyped up. Watching him come out in the white and he's just representing himself. He's like.
Oh, I felt bad.
You felt bad for him?
Yeah, I wanted Daniel to step up at that moment.
Yeah. Right. What do you got?
No, nothing.
So yeah, I definitely was excited when he came out. For me, as soon as I saw the two of them come out, I was like, it has to be Miguel and Robby. There's no other way that
Sure.
this can end. No, I did for a second think like, is it possible that like somehow like Miguel hurts his ankle and Hawk fights in the? I was trying to imagine like how could they do this?
Like two Cobra Kai's going to actually having to go up against each other?
Yeah, or sorry, no, like him fighting instead of Miguel. Like maybe he made it or something. I was trying to imagine could they do it that way?
Got it.
I think there's an infinite. What's fun about the show is they could have done it any number of ways.
Yeah.
They've just done it so well.
Or even Kevin, like you said, I mean, there could have. I mean, granted, would be a series of like kind of poor writing, but there could have been a third dojo just to knock both them out.
Right. Well, there was
Right, and I think you're right, and I really think that's poor writing because that's a cop out. If they did that, and it's like, okay, so you're making us come back for season 2 to see these two finally go at it. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend that.
Well, there is a third, the Apollo Ono looking kid. What's his name?
I don't know why I
The
feel
guy's like the real villain here is intolerance. That guy. You have
yeah.
to fight against hate, or what was his name? Anyway, that's the guy that they. I mean, obviously, he's the super capable.
Yeah,
He's like the returning champion, so
Yeah,
he's like
right.
the one in the way.
Yeah, exactly.
punch right to the throat.
Yeah, that's right.
Fuck him. As soon as I heard that, I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever, buddy.
Strike fast, striker.
That's it. No mercy.
So, all right. So we open up with a crane kick. Were you guys hyped?
Amazing.
He gives him the look. It was just like,
Just to be a smartass. Yeah,
Yeah.
how about that?
yeah.
This
Oh,
I loved it.
Got the chills.
I loved the taunt because I think it brought Daniel right back down to earth where he's like, the thing that I like prided myself on anyone could do now. I loved the taunt.
Yeah.
But I think it was just so funny, and I just kind of like went along with it. But I think it's so funny that they tried so hard to like address it in this first episode. Yeah, it was legal, and then they do it again,
Yeah.
and it's like nothing. The
Well, 'cause
same thing happens.
It's pretty Cobra Kai for Johnny to be like, well, even if it wasn't legal, you got away with it, so I'm gonna get away with it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and like that's why I liked it. I realized that, but then I didn't think too much of it afterwards. Cause I'm like, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so one of the things, this is like all the anger from the Cobra Kai students here when each one of them would lose. That was to me like very representative of the different styles, and also kind of a little bit of some of the flaws maybe in the arc that Johnny's going through, having to train these kids.
well, he didn't go through that himself.
Yeah.
Right, he lost, his life ended, and he didn't really grow. And okay, not to get too deep with you, but they say when you drink to excess, you pretty much stop growing, you stop
Yeah.
maturing, you actually recede, you go back to, you stunt your growth, go back to your teen years. So this is all he's been doing is drinking. So he doesn't have the tools to teach them. Okay, we lost. Now you go. No, it's gonna be fuck.
Well, how do you guys feel about his speech that he gives them? Winning's the only thing, right? What's he say? It's about winning.
And in his mind, right? Because his loss toppled his entire world for 30 years. So I get it.
Yeah, what's he say? He said there's some line where he's like, they say the second, that's bullshit. You know, he's like, it's about winning. You go out there and you win.
Well, to him, because he didn't win, look what happened to his life. That's his perspective. I don't agree with it, but
True.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's talk about the hand trick. Can't. No.
The
not gonna do it.
almost hand trick.
Well, because for me, when I watch the original movie, that's like I get chills every time when that happens. There's some, even though it's a little corny.
No, it's great.
There's stuff when you watch movies like that once it becomes immortalized because it's been referenced so many times, it's hard not to get excited when you see it. But I did think for a second, I was like, he didn't really learn how to do that, did he?
Oh, I totally thought he did.
Oh, really?
I got really excited. I totally thought he did, and I got really excited. But then he called the medic, and I was like, "That's great."
How'd you guys feel about the standing on one hand kick? That's the big.
Yeah, we talked about. I mean, and I think that was the issue, is that I didn't buy it to begin with. Like when he was training and doing it and everything, I didn't buy that. And like I said, the crane kick is so iconic.
Yeah,
the crane kick is so iconic, so it's tough.
Yeah, it was fine. But it's good that it wasn't the penultimate move. It's good that it kept. Yeah. So he's going for the hurt arm. So Johnny's watching this, and this is where he starts to have the change of heart. And I think this is crucial. It does. We're gonna get to predictions in a second here, but kind of wondering his sensibilities, how they're gonna shift as we go into season 2. Aisha's lost too. Actually, that's another thing I wanted to bring up just quickly, because she gets so angry, she storms off. We get a little bit of reunion. So
made to the quarterfinals.
Right, for sure. Yeah, we have. Go ahead.
Well, I was not necessarily about that, backtracking a little bit. I was going to say that a lot of things that happened during the fight is what made me think, oh man, it could very well be Robby who wins this fight, because like you said, the fact that Robby gets injured, they're trying to attack his injured arm, the almost hand trick, even the one little line of Daniel LaRusso is gonna coach, everything was lining up like the original fight. And so that's when I was like, oh, maybe he really does have a shot at winning. But in my heart I was like, no, I do not want him to. I want it to be a Cobra Kai.
Yeah, they did. It's funny that they made him seem like the underdog by the end. They managed to do that to us in just a couple episodes. All of a sudden, Robby's supposed to feel like the underdog. When you think back, we watched this whole thing in one sitting at the beginning, but Miguel's so clearly the underdog.
Right, but good writing, because Robby's in there alone.
Yeah.
Doesn't even he's not part of a group. He doesn't have a sensei, and I don't know.
Yeah, because it's like right. They didn't make Miguel a bad guy until and that's still not a bad guy until way late. So that's why It's like you were saying. It's a short amount of time where all of a sudden, oh, he's the good guy.
Yeah, but Daniel LaRusso's going to coach was an exciting moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, loved it.
Yeah, that was great.
I was like, it's about time.
Yeah, it's about damn time.
Yeah,
Just sitting there watching.
Yeah,
you got to do it, man.
No, and also you remember being alone.
Yeah,
and you remember not having anybody, and so I even thought it was a little late, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you should have come in earlier. I agree. So the fight ends. We get this climactic moment, and then comes you can see the moment that you can see the regret in Johnny's face immediately. Mm-hmm. He's just watched his son. He's just watched his son get beaten, and he's got to be excited. He's got to be happy, but he also recognizes not only did my son get beaten, but he got beaten while being coached in a positive way by my arch nemesis, and now he's walking out with my arch nemesis. He's such an empty feeling, right?
Yeah. Well, I think not only that, I think what makes it even worse is to your point. Yes, he watches his son get beat, and his son's coach is his nemesis. But also the fact that the one thing he really did in this entire season was he wants to help Miguel. He does not want to disappoint him. He even goes so far to help tell his mom that kid is watching out for me or something. He's the only one who hasn't given up on me. And at that final moment for Miguel to be it's about winning, or since when is what's unfair about winning, sensei, or something like that. He kind of sees maybe in himself he I don't want to say broke him, but he
created a monster.
He created a monster. He disappointed him. He lost him basically.
Yeah, right. And he's like, it's it's cool, and then he walks off. He just watches his son walk off. Because in your mind, you're you'd think in that moment he'd sit down with his son, or maybe he'd walk out with his son, right? Now the match is over, but nope, not at all. Now Miyagi-Do has a student, an official student. So it's exciting. It's exciting. I mean, who's going to join Miyagi-Do? I feel like there's so much to talk about.
Remember, Johnny's not, again, I go back to my point, he's not advanced enough to be able to now step in as a dad and say, okay, this fight's over. Let's be father. You know, he doesn't.
Right.
He's frozen. He doesn't know what to do. He's never been in that situation before.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I want to make sure we cover obviously the tag at the end of the episode because it's enormous, huge, and then we have a ton of predictions. So stay tuned, guys. As I mentioned, an exclusive conversation with Martin Kove, as well as an exclusive conversation with the trainers of Johnny and Cobra Kai from the original Karate Kid. We're going to get to in just a second. So we hear this voice in the dojo. We hear this voice. We see this hooded figure. And so his voice is a little different, right? It's a little bit.
He's older. He's older.
Because this happens sometimes, right? Where like you come back to the character 30 or 40 years later, and you can hear the sound of the voice is a little different. Bill Pullman sounded different in the Independence Day sequel when he gave the speech the second time. Like it happens sometimes. Of
course.
Hey, Steven Tyler doesn't sound the same.
Yeah, exactly. The voice sounds a little different, and so but you see the collar, you hear the voice, Johnny. You know, it's all falling into place. And he shows up. He looks pretty damn good, I gotta say.
Absolutely.
Marty Kove, that guy's gotta be in his 60s.
I think 70.
You think 70?
He's in his 70s, man.
70s.
Oh, yeah. He's in his 70s.
Yeah, he looks pretty damn good.
That's great.
Especially since he already looked old in the 80s anyways.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for like what showed up,
Yeah.
it was just like, yeah.
Is
he
it just
looks
me,
good.
or when I go back and see pictures from the original, he looks like evil David Hasselhoff?
Yes.
Right? That is a real thing. I'm not just making that up.
I never
I
thought
can
about
see
it.
it.
No,
Never
I like
thought
it.
of it.
I like it. No,
It would work.
But I mean, it's, like I said, 80s, like the hair,
Yeah, right.
the styles and stuff.
I mean,
yeah.
it feels like Johnny William Zabkoff was the quintessential teen villain, and
Yeah.
then he was the quintessential
Bad guy.
adult. So they're perfect pairing.
Spader was like pretty high on the list of
Absolutely.
quintessential. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a bigger star too.
Yeah. James Spader's a big dick. All right, so let's
Because he was the psychological bad guy.
Yeah.
He wasn't the physical bad guy. He was a psychological bad guy that would make people do bad stuff psychologically.
Yeah, right.
Just like he's in the Blacklist. He would just mess with your mind. James Spader, yeah.
Yeah. So he
Well, little rookie in the dojo,
Yeah.
little rookie Veronica.
All right, so
I love you.
So he's like, it's all according to plan. You can see the look on Johnny's face. So this is the only Martin Kove that we get. So I think it's interesting that they saved him for the very last
all we
frame of the
need.
very last episode, because he could have come in earlier, right? I watched an interview with him where he was like, and they were talking to me, and they're like, you're gonna come in the last frame. The last episode, he's like, "How about I come in the 4th episode?" Like, no, he comes in, I'm gonna come in the 6th episode.
Too much unfinished business.
Yeah.
that doesn't involve him.
Right. So, but he's back. Because there's a line earlier, and he's like, Kreese is dead, and we were unclear if that was, he really thought he was actually dead or he's dead to him.
And he's old enough to be dead.
Yeah. But he somehow is lurking around and is cognizant of what's happening, that he heard about the successes of Cobra Kai and he's decided to come back. He wants a piece.
Well, and remember, in today's digital world,
doesn't take much.
yeah, you would totally hear.
Yeah, right.
50th anniversary of this like major tournament, and a group that he started wins. You know he's gonna find out about that.
50th anniversary, right? Yeah, it's a big deal.
To me, it was, when Johnny talks about that being what he saw as a father, and like we said, he didn't have a dad, so all he had was that dark image, and then that dark image of a dad beats him up, in karate at the beginning of Karate Kid 2, further traumatizing him, then abandonment, just so many other things, and then now for him to show up, that's another PTSD moment for him.
Right.
But what I've heard, and just an inside information, is that even Martin Kove's character, Kreese, is also going to be gray. They'll be good and bad.
Right.
Which is perfect, because you have to remember, like, we learned in Karate Kid 3 that he was in Vietnam. He's a Vietnam vet, and he saved Terry Silver's life. So now imagine what he saw as a Vietnam vet. And I think we'll get into all of that stuff, like what made him to be kill or be killed, racist. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, think of the post-traumatic stress disorder he has, and I think they'll be, the way these guys seem like their writing is, I think we're going to explore that, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
So this is a good moment I can tell my story. Talking about the other night. So I covered the Saturn Awards the other night. It's like sci-fi awards show, and obviously he was there for this because sci-fi fantasy. It's kind of in this genre. So at the after party, because I didn't get him on the carpet, I got to talk to him after the whole ceremony was over, and I walked up because he's a kind of a friend of a family friend. And I was like, hey, Martin, I'm Ben. Nice to meet you. My friends say, say hello to him. So I said, we're covering the Cobra Kai After Show at AfterBuzz TV, and I just had a couple questions for you. And he's like, yeah, shoot, what do you got? And I was like, well, I'm a big fan. I love the show. I'm so excited about it. And he's like, oh, that's great. Thank you. I was like, it's great to see you back. But I was wondering if, is your character going to be kind of a little more of the 80s comic booky, pop collar cigar villain like you are when you show up, or is it going to be a little more like in depth? Because obviously they took all those characters, they really expanded on them in the series, and he said it's going to be little of both. And then he told me this whole story that he really wanted to be in one of the earlier films, but he booked in other jobs.
Karate Kid 3.
So the whole entire Terry Silver thing was written because he couldn't do the movie, and so he was like, but I'm really excited to get to reprise this character because of it. And so then I was like, okay, last question for you, are you going to be fighting in season 2? And he's like, you're goddamn right, I'm gonna be fighting in season 2.
Wow.
Yep.
I was like,
And
oh.
I'll predict this: you'll be rooting for him when he fights. There's no way you're gonna be rooting against a 70-something-year-old guy. No, they'll put him in a situation. My prediction for next season, when he fights, you'll be rooting for him.
Yeah.
You will, and then you wonder if when, and I know it's a when Terry Silver comes in. Is he going to be that third bad guy Dojo that I still think is going to come? Because I do think things are going to get resolved with this guy, because I think he's a victim too.
Okay.
Kreese.
Yeah.
But I would like to hear from Miyagi Dojo.
Yeah, what do you got?
The way I look at it, in this time and age is 2018, I think we'll see a CGI Pat Morita come in.
Oh, wouldn't you love it? Wouldn't you love it?
But give us a prediction for season 2.
Well, just of Kreese. Let's just talk Kreese.
Yeah, just Kreese for me.
I don't know. See, it's like I heard what you said, and I think it's interesting, and I'm probably going to start thinking like that. But for the longest time, everyone to me was very gray, but he and Terry Silver were like the only ones I was like, okay, it's very clearly black and white with you two. I know how I feel about you. Everything you do, I understand, and I know how I feel. So it's interesting to hear you say that, because now, I don't know. It'll be interesting just to explore that, because I was very much, okay, he's the villain. It's not like Johnny. There's no okay, you can kind of sympathize. I was very much like, he's a villain, but we'll see.
I mean, he is, when you said he's the quintessential 80s villain. That's what he is. Yeah. He doesn't have, would be honest with you guys, thinking about the show, I imagined what he looked like and the look on his face with his arms crossed more than I ever thought about the way his voice sounded. It's just that look on his face. He just looks evil.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the most important part of the character. He's more effective almost when he's not speaking than when he is.
But, even in Karate Kid 3, which is not regarded as the best of the films, certainly, but when Silver says, hey, you saved me in Vietnam, I mean, you get why Terry Silver would be so loyal to him, and then a bad narcissistic person wouldn't save someone else.
Yeah.
A totally evil, rotten person would not save the life of someone else.
I am very excited to see him come in season 2 of this. I think it's going to be unbelievable. So, yeah. Should we talk a little bit about this conversation that you had?
Oh, so over the weekend, there's a lot of craziness for me over this weekend, because I'm revisiting all sorts of 80s. I was at the Glow carpet. And so I'm visiting Glow, Netflix's Glow season 2. Then I'm hanging out with the old Glow wrestlers at this house, and the house happened to be owned by a guy who helped train William Zabka and Chad McQueen.
Wow.
And like Kevin said, they immerse themselves into learning and being genuine and authentic. And there was a different trainer for Ralph Macchio.
Yeah, which I had heard too, because they wanted them to be separate.
And
they really wanted, for the creative, they didn't want them to, cross over.
And kind of like in lore, and kind of like how Elizabeth Shue makes fun of Ralph Macchio's athleticism, he kind of agreed. As it's the whole time we were on set, we were just thinking, how is this guy gonna pull off these moves and make it look like he's gonna win? So it was really, really funny to hear that. I was like, amazing. I mean, if we had like I said, if we had a little bit more time, I might have been like, please come to the after show or whatever. So something maybe for next season.
I think season 2 we could really knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
But did he say anything more about William Zabka working with him? Did he respect his talents or his gifts, his abilities?
Yeah, absolutely. Nicest guy. This is what's funnier. So he told me that, so I was at the 7-Eleven 15 years ago. And, I'm getting whatever he's getting, pack of gum. So it's guy taps on my shoulder. He's like, Sensei? Like he actually like says sensei to him. It's not even like yeah, it's not even. It's
Sounds
just
like
like
the greatest guy.
Yeah, it's not even like, oh hey Kevin, how's it going? It's just like sensei, it's good to see you. So.
Awesome.
Wow.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've not seen him for so many years. It's like, yeah, he says like 15 years
You
ago.
know, he just seems like such a humble guy.
He is. He's a great guy.
He's Africa, you know, just seeing his interviews. You know, it's funny because I'm so into this show. I was taking, so this is going to sound weird. For my wife, I'm taking dancing lessons.
Yeah.
But the teacher, I keep calling her sensei.
Yeah.
And the last time I went, she's like, okay, we don't, that's not dance. Like, we don't, oh, sorry. But I don't know. I'm in the Cobra Kai mode, so.
Taking dancing lessons for his wife. This is a good man right here. He dropped that.
I'm like
little
Johnny.
nugget in, yeah.
I'm like Johnny. I'm on my journey. I'm learning. I don't want to lose Allie again.
I love it. So let's get into predictions, guys. I want to talk a little bit about what we think is going to happen for season 2.
And now,
so much
your
good stuff.
AfterBuzz TV
Yeah.
predictions.
Lights change, rookie.
Veronica,
Yeah.
you go first.
Okay. So I think in terms of season 2, I definitely think Kreese, because now that they've won, Kreese cares enough. Like before he was like, I don't care. But now he does. So I think he'll come in and he'll try and take over. He'll try and like instill that type of karate that he taught Johnny and just be very ruthless with the students. And I think because Johnny has this kind of character change after seeing like the loss with the son and like Miguel changing, he might not want to instill that type of karate. And I think Kreese will even take it to the next level. I think we'll most likely see Terry Silver. I think we'll even see, I can't remember his character name, but Sean Kanan was the student in Cobra Kai 3 that like made Daniel fight. We'll even see, it was like, oh, like it's like on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember his character name. I think we can see him.
Basically, the villain from Karate Kid 3.
Basically, the villain. We'll see. I think Kreese will bring in all these like very big villains to try and flesh Johnny out. And I think I personally would love to see Sam and whoever the Cobra Kai baddie is of season 2 fight in the final, whether it's Miguel or whether Johnny and Miguel go to the other side or whatnot.
Do they fight co-ed in these karate tournaments? I mean, would she fight a guy, Sam, or no? It's girl on girl?
No, not. I mean, not at least. You know, these days I don't know, but I don't think so.
It'll be her and Aisha.
It's still. I mean, it's still very much like other than China. You know, it's still like wrestling. It's still separate.
Okay.
So I have a couple here that I think. One of them is that I believe we're going to see a high school reunion because it's 35.
Oh yes.
35 years.
Genius.
Yes.
So it's right. It's 84 to 08. Right. So if you go with one more year, we get a 35th high school reunion, which is not a real reunion that people go to. The 35 is usually, but they could make it up for the sake of the show easily.
No, people go every 5 years. They go.
Okay, but I mean, yeah,
You got
that deep into the post high school. 35.
No, that people go.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Open bar. It's great. So I think that's where we get Elizabeth Shue to come back in the show. Allie will show up. And I think that's going to be great. I think that's how you get Allie back in the show for one episode, and maybe she becomes a series regular or something later.
By 3.
Yeah. But I don't think she'll be fully immersed in season 2.
You don't need her.
But I think a high school reunion would be great. That's one thought. The second one is I think what's going to happen is Kreese is going to come in, and I think it's going to split the. I think it's going to sort of split the evil within Cobra Kai.
Yeah,
and you're going to see some of the weaker students that want to kind of go to the dark side. So I think Hawk is a great example of a kid who would totally end up on the dark side. He's going to go full
It's like when
Sith.
the NWO in wrestling went NWO red and black.
Yeah. He'll go Sith, and like Aisha will be a struggle, but she might, end up on the good side. I think that's what I think you're going to see. Is you're going to see truly new Cobra Kai and old Cobra Kai. And Kreese is going to be kind of responsible. But I don't even know if it's necessarily going to be that he's going to necessarily stick around for that. I think he's almost like the catalyst for evil Cobra Kai. But he maybe isn't all the way evil himself. I just think some of his sensibilities might kind of divide things. So those are my 2 big predictions.
Rick?
You know, I'm trying to see if I could find, I'm trying to see if I can find one thing. So who Veronica's alluding to is Sean Kanan, who was Mike Barnes.
Yes,
The character was Mike Barnes. And the cool thing was that Sean Kanan was here at AfterBuzz TV being interviewed and talked about his experience on Karate Kid 3 and like getting the part. So I watch it. I found it fascinating. So you guys can tune in here to see that. But I would love to say, oh no, he's also gone. Darn it. So I was hoping I'd go off the real deep end. And if the actor was still alive, I was hoping that the guy that played the best friend in Karate Kid 2 could maybe come mentor Daniel in place of Pat Morita to say like, his, like we had the
Sato?
same. Yeah.
Oh, Sato's gone too?
Yeah, but he died in 96. So I was gonna try to go for a little
died
bit of
a
a
long
deep
time
end.
ago.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen that. But I mean, Ben, I kind of agree with you though. I mean, yeah, seeing Elizabeth Shue come back in.
I think somewhere, but not
They set
throughout.
the table in this very smart way where they just use an image really quickly on Facebook. So they don't have to go to it if they don't want to, but they easily can. You're intrigued now.
I think there's an embarrassment of riches in terms of character. The fact that they said all 4 movies exist in the world of Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
I think that you put off Elizabeth Shue as long as possible. Yes, we have a Kreese-like appearance to tease more. I think you're going to see Dutch. I think you're going because remember he said he rambled it off. Johnny was like, Dutch is crazy. This one's that.
Yeah, right.
Like I think you're going to see them. I think that Johnny's going to be torn because to Samantha's point, Kreese is going to want to bring back. He's going to want to keep going full tilt with, hey, strike first, strike hard, no mercy. Great job, Johnny. Let's add gas to this fire. Let's go next level. And yes, Johnny's going to be tormented. But what's also going to torment him is that this is his father figure. So that's going to mess him up too. And this is where it's going to get really wonky. And I think Terry Silva, again, it's an Elizabeth Shue thing. Maybe it's a tease at the end. If I'm these guys and I want to go 8 seasons, which they should, all these people get to be employed. You know what I mean? It's great for poor Williams Africa. Like he doesn't need to be doing 2 or 3 seasons. Like he needs to, you know what I mean? Like why doesn't he should get a Walking Dead kind of run.
Yeah.
And if you the way you do that is you push as far away all these other assets you have, and you still have the world of Karate Kid 4 that you can tap into, and you still have Mike Barnes, and you know Karate Kid 3. You even have Karate Kid 2. You have the villain in that movie.
Chosen.
Yeah. So you have so many other like great things that you use, and I think next year you focus on Kreese, and you have maybe one alley appearance, and then you get in the some of the other kids from the other Cobra Kai. I think that's enough. So then you still have all the other future seasons, and I think they don't fight yet, Johnny and Daniel. I think
they'll introduce the idea of the seniors division in the 2nd season. I think they'll introduce.
Are you joking, or you think that you being legit?
I think they'll tease that there is a seniors division. I don't think they're going to fight in it, but I think you'll find out that it exists.
Or I mean, could there possibly be a divide? Like Ben, I love that idea about like the more evil Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Well,
so-
right. It could be, like I said, the 3. That could be the 3rd one.
So, but then,
The third dojo.
could we possibly see an Apollo Creed, Rocky
next season.
Balboa?
Not next
yeah,
season.
but like where Daniel
Somewhere,
and they
yes.
kind of
Somewhere along the lines, yes, but not next season. You save that, I think. And
I agree.
And if it happens, it could be friendly, like Creed. It could happen when it's all resolved, and they're like, all right, we just got to do it one more time.
yeah, maybe season 2 is just the whole season is driven where we just see the divide and then also the growth of Miyagi-Do.
Yeah.
Like you know,
that's it.
like Daniel's daughter.
Yeah, right.
Like
'Cause she's
we
involved.
see
That's
if we're talking about champions, who's gonna win? And like Kevin, you were talking about, do you really have guy or girl fighting? And it's just like if we're gonna see a champion next season, then maybe it is a LaRusso.
Yeah, or maybe it's so.
Yeah, and if they have male and female, that's kind of cool because that means we can have a male champion and a female champion. So then it's not the pressure's not on Sam because you don't want like Sam to take Robby's spot.
Right.
Robby has a comeuppance coming his way. So maybe they will splinter it. But I think you're right. I think next season I think we can all be sure one thing. It's the rise of Miyagi-Do.
Final question for you guys before we.
This was the rise of Cobra Kai. I think this is the rise of Miyagi-Do.
Before we wrap. Was Dutch a really cool name in the 80s? I guess it was, because it seems like I can't think of a character in a movie being named Dutch now.
I think no.
Predator, right?
Though that's Schwarzenegger's name in Predator. That's why I asked.
I don't know.
He's my favorite
Maybe.
Schwarzenegger character ever. Is Dutch.
No, dude, Matrix. John Matrix.
John Matrix, yeah. He's better as Dutch.
Here, I was at a cookout this weekend, and I'll tell you, if you're around a group of guys, Veronica, and you want to like break the ice, you're trying to network in Hollywood, just throw out some Cobra Kai chum. Like when I tell you, everyone just turns the most straight-laced guys who I don't watch TV. I'm all about business and this, that, and the other thing. And next thing you know, at this Illuminati party, Maria threw in our neighborhood this weekend. I just Cobra Kai. Oh my God! I watched it all in one sitting, and they just go absolutely freaking nuts.
To your point, I'm a VP of sales for a toy company. Some of you guys know this, some of you don't. But one of the guys that I work with is a sales rep out in the East Coast. I talked to him this week, and I was like, hey, have you watched Cobra Kai? And he's like, no, it looked really interesting, though. And he calls me on Friday. He's like, hey, I just want to let you know I watched the first 2 episodes of Cobra Kai. I'm freaking hooked, man.
Yeah, see?
It is so good.
Yeah.
I'm showing my kids. He's like, 48 or whatever, just like so dialed, so excited.
It's like, and I think the note looking to Hollywood as a business, they're going to bring back more series. And we talked about it last week, or, for people to send in ideas. And I still am racking my brain. I think Wall Street as a TV series would work.
Maybe,
with
yeah.
Michael Douglas as a senior guy in the movie. But I think we're going to see more come back. I think the key is getting that 40-something writer. So that's somebody who was younger than the guys in there. The guys who wrote the original stuff was 50s, 60s, 70s. But a guy like these 3 guys were in their 40s, so they grew up as super fans of this franchise. Then they went on to become successful writers in their own right.
Yeah.
So you've got such a respect for the old franchise, but with youthful writing that can be fresh and present,
Yeah.
And so, not that I don't want to be ageist, because look what Larry David does. It's fantastic.
Yeah, right.
But I think with these series, I think the smartest thing is to get, that right in that sweet spot. I think, right, 35 to 45 is and I think these 3 guys, I can't say enough. They nailed it. I can't wait for next year.
Yeah, he crushed it. Amazing. I'm so excited for season 2. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Let's introduce our wonderful panel so you guys know where you can find them if you want to follow along. Veronica, welcome to your first show.
I know.
Round of applause. Veronica Valencia.
She's graduated to yellow belt.
Yep, she lost in the quarterfinals, but you know what? It's fine.
She made it, though. She got to the table.
Yeah,
Well, let's just wait until next season.
that's right.
Where can the folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at it's me, Veronica_V.
Do you have any other shows yet?
I will be hosting with the Bold Type panel on Tuesday at 9, so watch me there.
What is the show?
The Bold Type. It's a freeform show.
The bold type.
The Bold Type.
Yes.
Freeform. Copy that.
Hey guys, and I'm Rick Hong. You can find me on all social media at Rick Hong, RICKHONG. Every Sunday, 7 p.m., I do Netflix picks. You want to know what to watch? Tune in there. Also, that just started today, so you can go back and watch it. I'm doing the Glow Season 2 After Show. We're going to have guests on there. I'm already on the panel with an original Glow, Little Egypt. So that's where you can find me.
Oh my God! And Glow is second only to this in terms of binging. If you're a fan of 80s wrestling, or in this series Glow, it's wonderful. It's timely, and again, I'm sure those females are right in that area of 35 to 40, the writers, and I know you do a great job on it, Rick. But I was just binging that today. I love it. At Undergaro for me. And you can catch me on AfterBuzz TV's Bar Rescue. You can catch me on what else do I do, Ben? There's one other show I do here now.
We're doing the Happy Jersey Day.
Oh my goodness!
Just wrapped up though.
Yeah, no. Excuse me. Tomorrow night we are doing the Jersey Shore finale.
Oh, you got one more.
Absolutely. So please check that out, and of course the Tomorrow Show.
Yeah, with Keven Undergaro. You guys can find me at Ben Bateman Media, Twitter, Instagram. I just wrapped up Riverdale. I do Action Movie Anatomy on the Popcorn Talk Network, which is a sister network of AfterBuzz. 2 o'clock every single Wednesday. We're 3 years deep on that show now. And I'm probably coming back for another show pretty soon. I'm just in between shows.
We need you back, Ben.
Yeah, well, I do red carpets.
Listen, but guys, the word's going to get passed along with Cobra Kai. More and more people are going to find out. More and more people are going to watch it. If you'd be so kind as to direct those people to our 4-part series, to our after show, we super appreciate it. And keep in touch with us as the year goes on. If you guys hear anything, certainly send it our way, or comments. We'll be looking at them, until we come back again.
Oh, and guys, check out Comic-Con. I'll be doing Comic-Con coverage for several of our networks, AfterBuzz included. I'll bet you, I wouldn't be surprised.
You gotta wear the colors to Comic-Con.
I wouldn't be surprised if I get to interview some of this cast, because I'll bet you they're there.
And by the way, wouldn't you want to
wear the outfit?
Yeah, show the colors.
Maybe I'll do the headband.
I think you'd stand out pretty good.
How
about you? I'm going to the bar down the street right now.
All right, guys, have a good one.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
No mercy!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.